Yeah, baby! Woo! Yeah, bro!
Norte y Sudamericano.
All right, we ready?
Yep. First pro podium and first race post stretch.
Since your stress fracture. It's so hard to say. I did the same thing, yeah.
And first race post stress fracture. Again, messing it up. And first race post stress fracture? Let's talk about it.
Pretty pumped, man. I'm on cloud 9. Feel like it was nearly the perfect day, and after a tough year, it just feels really, really freaking good to get a good result. The week started with a flight to Houston.
Justin.
You're going to run to the Ironman?
Oh yeah. I love this place. I haven't been here since 2020. I did the full Ironman here as an amateur in 2020 during COVID on 6 weeks of training. It's just a beautiful laid back island. We stayed in a nice Airbnb here with a kitchen mostly, so we could just like cook our own food, even though we didn't cook anything. We just ate cereal, peanut butter and jelly, and then we ate out Mexican food every night because it's so good. And it's honestly the best carbo loading. Got to ride around the island and ride the course again, which was great on that first day. Kyle and I rented a Vespa and just whipped around all over the island, and it's just fun. I mean, it's a cool little beach town. We haven't swam in the ocean yet besides the race, so hopefully looking forward to doing that tomorrow morning. But it was chill, you know, race focus. I'm strictly business, baby.
Key? It's go time, baby.
Sí, gracias. Everyone's sponsored by Erdinger and Athletic Brewing. I'm trying to get that Heineken sponsorship. 0.0, baby. Whatever place I get, I'm not actually sure if I'm committing to this, but whatever place I get, I will take that many tequila shots after the race. I'm pumped. I can't wait to drink like 6 margaritas today. I will have as many tequila shots as my position.
Yeah, there you go, yeah. 3, baby. Only 3.
Tomorrow evening. So if they go back.
It's like 5 minutes of my life. We're back to
they're gonna not enforce drafting, but they're gonna make sure everybody isn't using banned shoes.
Oh my god. This is a pre-race meal. Look at that. This is some healthy shit. And then before I knew it, it was race day, to be honest. My second PB&J. like a little 4 a.m. cruise through Cozumel. Race warm-up, baby. It's gonna be me today.
No, yo más cansado.
What were your thoughts on the swim?
Yeah, the swim was sweet. It was, I don't want to say easy, it's derogatory, but it was finally comfortable. I think it was a combination of me being in the best swim shape of my life. I've swam more yards this year than probably the last 2 years combined. Basically have hit 20K a week almost every week, it feels like. With some serious work in there, and like a lot of threshold swimming, a lot of big 5,000 yard sets with paddles and strength work, and I've been showing up to the pool all year since my injury. When I got injured, I swam 30K a week for a month with only paddles and a buoy, and I put on like 6 pounds of shoulder mass. And I feel like in the swim today, I was reflecting on all of those moments of the work I put in during my injury that I never got to show in a race day. And the swim is so underrated quite often in the race, but the guys that didn't make that front swim group, there was a couple of them that were pretty solid. Like, they were never in the race. I found the front feet. I was second position the whole swim, and I got out second out of the water at a 7 out of 10 effort with no lactate and solidly under threshold the whole time. And fortunately, it was a non-wetsuit swim and a little bit long, which made the dynamics pretty strong for me and the rest of the guys that made that front group.
I think a lot of people texted me and said, what happened to Justin in T1? You want to talk about T1?
Yeah, I mean, T1 was interesting. It was an uphill run through a little park. So Tomas, who is one of the best runners in World Triathlon Ironman circuit, blitzed up that hill at like, I think probably like a 4:30, 4:40 mile pace. And I was like, I'm not gonna sprint through T1 and spike my heart rate just to get on the bike, out of whack. And so I lost a little bit of time on the run up the hill to transition, but I decided to put on aero socks and my shoes and put the 1.5 liter Fiji bottle down the chest, which I aero tested, which was significantly faster. And so taking the time to do the socks, shoes, and aero bottle before mounting my bike cost me that 30 seconds in T1, and I lost the front group that I swam with. But I'm pretty confident in my cycling ability. I knew I was gonna be one of the strongest cyclists in the race today, especially in that front swim group, knowing Michael Weiss was gonna be behind me, that I decided to take the time to like dial it all in before getting on the bike and then just bridge up. And that's exactly what happened. I stuck to my plan. I came out of the water second, maybe came out of the bike 10th, but then within 3 miles, I was pushing the front of that front bike group. I'm a big YouTube fan. I watch Sam Long and Lionel and all those other guys. And one thing Sam said in his Maryland race recap from his Ironman was he wanted to have the mindset like a pro tour cyclist, like GC Sepp Kuss. And so I watched that last night and I was like, damn, like I need to make sure I'm a mature cyclist on the bike today, and that I approach the race with, from a wise perspective, and not just act impulsively and like, I'll get frustrated that the group isn't working hard enough and blitz off the front at mile 5, which I have a tendency to do those types of things. And what actually happened? Pretty close. Got on the bike, we had a group of 7, pretty much from mile 5 through mile 40. I was doing, I would say, most of the work on the front with a combination of Luciano Taccone from Argentina, who's the 2-time defending champ here, who's a strong cyclist. He and I were trading poles most of the time, with a little bit of work from Nick Chase as well, who was trying to push the pace on the front. But ultimately, the 3 of us were doing, I would say, like moderate effort surges, and it just wasn't enough to crack those guys on the back of the pack. And so I have limited experience racing in the pro field with a group of 7 on a flat course where you don't have those punchy climbs that allow people to get dropped. And so it was a bit frustrating knowing, hey, I'm not the strongest runner in the field. I'm not going to be able to outrun 7 guys. And if I get off the bike in T2, even if I'm in the lead with 7 guys on my wheel, I'm in trouble. And so I kept kind of trying to put in a surge after surge, and it just wasn't quite playing out. I'd do 340 watts for a few minutes and then settle back into 300 and then go 340 and then 300. But then when I sit back in that second or third wheel position, it was like 270, 280 watts. It's a huge difference, even at the 12-meter legal draft length. When it got to mile 40, I realized it's now or never. And I decided to just absolutely hammer. I went 2 minutes all out at 400 and 450 watts and was able to get solo off the front and drop the rest of the pack. And then I settled into 350 for 4 minutes and was pretty smashed. This is mile 40, we're dying. And then turned around and Luciano was the only guy with me. And I was like, all right, this is a great situation. Luciano I knew was gonna outrun me no matter what, but I know if I get into T2, my goal is to make the podium, not to win the race. And you know, I knew if I got into T2 with a little bit of gap with Luciano, it would just give me that buffer on the rest of the guys. And so overall, it was a really solid bike. It was the easiest pro bike that I've been a part of, but it wasn't easy because I was the guy. You know, in my previous 2 races, I had Sam Long, Lionel Sanders, Jackson Laundrie, Ben Canute. Like, I had world-class cyclists in the race, and I had to respond. And today was my first time in the pro field where I'm like, wow, like, I'm the guy who has to make it hard now. Like, I think I need to be the guy who attacks and shatters the group and makes people hurt. And it paid off because I think guys lost their run legs because of the way I rode today, which felt pretty freaking awesome because I've worked my ass off on the bike this year. And to go sub 2 hours, you know, it was 300 watts normalized with a significant amount of time over 320. I felt really aero, really dialed today. The only hiccup was that I lost 100 grams of carbs at mile 40. My entire front bottle ejected. Not the front bottle, the entire front aero system that I custom built with a carbon piece and mounts, like it flew over my shoulder like it was out of a movie. And I went up to Luciano and he said, hey, come through and take a pull. I said, I can't, like I just lost all my carbs. Like I can't ride above 300 now for the last 30 minutes. And he gave me a Morton, absolute homie. And then I took a pull for like 5 minutes, and he probably saved my race because without that single gel, I don't think I would have had that 18 seconds on the run. So that was so appreciated. Just like awesome spirit of triathlon to help with a fellow competitor when they lose their nutrition is awesome.
First real run post-stress fracture? Post-stress fracture?
This was my first 10-mile run since Oceanside.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that feels awesome. And it was my first time running more than 4 miles under 7-minute pace since Oceanside. And my race plan, first 5K chill, run at own pace, not with anyone else. People will blow up, stay controlled and steady. Lap 2, bury yourself, in all caps. Blackout, hurt more, go dark, you missed this shit, enjoy it. That's what I wrote yesterday. And I mean, that couldn't have been more accurate to how I executed today. It's really easy in a race like this to like get off the bike, feel the hype, you know, guys come up on you and you run with them because you think, oh, maybe this will be the fucking day. And like, I don't have that much experience racing in the pro field, but I've raced triathlon in the amateur field for 6 years. And I know that like, those days don't just like show up out of nowhere. Make sure that you finish the race without thinking you could have gone even 1 second faster. And I was able to do that. I hit the finish line, immediately collapsed, threw up, peed myself. Like it was ugly, but I was elated. I was like so euphoric and just carrying the American flag through the chute. Like it felt like I won the race. And I was acting like I won the race because it meant that much to me. Like this was a crazy result for me. To go from being sidelined and basically being a rookie newbie pro to make a podium in a field to beat guys like Andre Lopez, Michael Weiss, who like, yeah, they didn't have their best days. They've been racing and training hard throughout the year, but like, you got to show up on race day. And I did. And I didn't have a great build. You know, I was sick 2 weeks ago and everybody's got an excuse. And, you know, I think, I'm just proud of myself, honestly. It feels freaking good.
What's his name? What's his name?
Bueno, ya saben, Tomás Rodríguez Hernández, el campeón de la prueba. Él estará de regreso y ya se acaba para la prueba completa. Este gran campeón Joaquín Pereira nos felicita en este momento. Gran carrera se ha gastado este atleta por un minuto de diferencia por ejemplo los tacones Justin Dio.
And then you show that you're a human, that you're a higher.
Estamos también en espera de unos 9 minutos de recibir a la primera mujer.
Wow.
I just feel like on another level right now. I'm exhausted, but honestly, it was close to the perfect race. Close to the perfect fucking race. I mean, the final 5K was the greatest moment in sports I've ever had. I was in fifth place. I saw I had a gap on Nick Chase, and I saw I had fifth place on lock, and I was fading 10 seconds per mile, but everybody was. So I'm just sort of staying within myself, knowing this is my first fucking 9-mile run in 6 months. Like, that was going through my head, and I could literally feel the crutches and my physical therapy like pulsing through my veins on the final 5K. Like, you have worked so fucking hard for this in your rehab. Like, you've got to fucking bury yourself. And when I saw them, they were 1 minute, and it had only been 1 minute 3 miles earlier. And so I knew they were fading. And I just thought of fucking you, my boy being here, my family watching the tracker, my coach and everything, my physical therapist, Chris, who's been working with me every week since the last 3 months. I thought about the feeling of just standing on the podium and making everybody proud of my team, Every Man Jack, and all the sacrifice I've put in this year, my wife, Lauren, just to feel like I fucking can make it as a pro, because I've doubted myself all year. Like, was this fucking stupid to go pro? I was winning amateur races. I have a fucking full-time job. Like, I don't belong here. I'm just overtraining, getting injured, people putting me down. And it feels so fucking good to finish on the podium, man. It does. It's just like, it just validates like all the sacrifice, and it's stupid. Like, nobody gives a shit. But it just means so much to me. I knew that with the perfect day it was possible, and I knew other people would have to have an off day, but that's racing. And Michael Weiss did an Ironman last weekend. Andre Lopez did the Ironman World Championship 2 weeks ago. So I knew when they were running behind me, they weren't catching me. And these two dudes, I just saw them and I made a move, and dude, I had some dark fucking thoughts in that run. Like, absolutely burying myself, thinking about my dead teammate Tom Trotter and how if he was out here, he'd be so fucking lucky, and just to make sure I finish without being able to go 1 second faster. And I did.
Third place and bronze medalist, representing the United States of America, de Estados Unidos, Justin Riele. Ganadores de medallas en la categoría élite. Well, it's time to celebrate. Tiempo de celebración. Recuerden.
I know you're better at popping bottles than that.
Bro, that was weak showing. That was embarrassed.
So how many drinks have you had so far?
What is it? 1 tequila shot, triple shot margarita, big boy at the awards ceremony, which was lit, by the way. A beer. This is like a tiny little boy. So 5, I'm good. Maybe one more tonight.
Where was your first shot at of the day?
Walking around, if you want to be a gangster, you walk around with a giant $2,000 check in Mexico. That will get attention. It was hilarious. I felt like a celebrity out there. It was awesome. They thought I won the race. I didn't. But yeah, it was a great day, man. I mean, racing here is special, and it's a cool place to be. I'm stoked for my next race, which is in Colombia in 2 weeks in beautiful Santa Marta, where I'm gonna have a rematch with Luciano, and Matt Hansen will be there. So Luciano and I will be putting in some work on the bike to build a gap and maybe outrun one of the best runners in the sport. But yeah, it was fun, man. It's a great vibe.
Justin!
obviously a huge thank you to everybody around me, my coach Lauren Goss, my wife Lauren, you Kyle, my team Everyman Jack that just fires me up and supports me, and all of our other sponsors. It's awesome. So really looking forward to the next one, and I'm happy to say I'm back, baby, and I'm here to stay in the pro field and just continue to grind and see what I can do as a full-time tech worker, trying to battle that out in the pro field as a part-time pro. So thanks for watching if you made it this far, and feel free to hit me up on Instagram or DM me with any questions or comments you have. Always happy to help.